All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, of course, Darren Campbell, and joining us on a Monday, Jason Cameron. Really quiet weekend in the world of sports there. A couple of all-star weekends, NFL, NHL. We did have a crazy late pay-per-view from Korea, Vegas. And then we had a Bellator card. We don't cover Bellator too often on this, but they were actually upstaging the UFC on this night. They had their first ever CBS card, so that was kind of fun to check out. And but yeah, super quiet weekend. How was your weekend without a lot of sports to really get into?
Our weekend was good. You know what? It was quiet, which was nice. I'm just gonna be honest. I thought the UFC, the card was good, but it started too late for me.
Yeah.
Now I feel like the East Coast people's pain. Like I get it now. I really get it. It was super late, but whatever.
Yeah, it is weird. I haven't been back east for a few years now watching cards, but I did get used to it when I was back there. But I definitely love the West Coast for the time. It's nice when it's over by 10 and you get on with the rest of your night. But over by 1 in the morning, it's insane. It's nuts. The last UFC card that I attended in Toronto, it was over about 1:30 in the morning. I was staying at a hotel out of town by the airport, and I missed the last train to go there. I had to take a cab that cost me way more than I wanted to pay, and I was pretty pissed off. I kept looking at the time, looking at the fights. I didn't want to leave early. It was pretty epic card, and I was like, man, I can't believe this. This is like 1:30 in the morning. This is insane. And yeah, that's something that must be tough to have to go through week after week after week. But yeah, it really felt super late and weird, didn't it?
It did. It just felt so late because now I'm like, when it's finally done, I go, okay, so I go to bed now, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that would be it.
That was
I do.
yeah. Well, Bellator was smart. They put on a card. The main event started or the main card started at 6. So usually, that's about an hour earlier than most pay-per-view UFC cards. CBS, big, being able to get on cable TV, a huge accomplishment. I've been saying this for years and years and years. I want the UFC to get away from the pay-per-view model and get on cable TV. The potential is just so much more. You're going to get way more eyeballs on it. You're going to get way more money in the end because you're going to get incredible money from the channels, the pay-per-view. I mean, the TV subscribers, and you're going to get way more advertising money and just make the sport way more mainstream. I wasn't impressed with the Bellator card. I thought they should have put a lot of different guys on, not a 46-year-old man that's kind of washed up. But to be on CBS for the first time, pretty impressive for Bellator to finally do that. And I thought they had a much better card really than the UFC did.
Yes. And also too, you know what? It kind of gives me a little bit of hope because let's be honest, the UFC has had a stranglehold over like MMA for quite some time.
Yeah.
I think it's about time that somebody's been able to somewhat push them, match them, try to get more eyeballs towards what their product is and stuff. Yeah. I've always thought Bellator had the potential to do that, but now that they have this new contract with CBS, hopefully that can start pushing them forward.
Yeah, I really hope so. I think it bodes well for the sport and for a lot of these guys that maybe have left the UFC, not quite at the UFC level. And there was some really, really, really good fights in this card. I really like the early fights. The fight that was the feature fight in the prelims had Lorenz Larkin, former UFC guy. He scored an amazing knockout with an elbow to the temple. Muhammad Berkamov was his opponent, and they fought in July 2022, and Larkin was actually disqualified for an illegal elbow. He decided to throw it again this time, and he knocked out Birkenhoff with the strike early in the first round and got the win. Really vicious, amazing knockout, highlight reel. I don't know, did you get a chance to see that highlight or any of that fight?
No, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see it. But the thing that I'm more impressed by is I haven't heard that guy's name for quite some time. Lorenz Larkin, still fighting. That's awesome, and still knocking people out.
Yeah, well, he ended his UFC career off in 2016. He won his last couple fights, and then Bellator came knocking, offered him some money, and he moved on. And it was a really super impressive fight, and great knockout for him. I really I didn't love there was a title fight in the middleweight division. There's a guy that they're really heavily trying to promote, Johnny Eblen. He's a fighter out of Miami, out of Florida, American Top Team. Really super good fighter, but it wasn't really that exciting fight. It ended up going 5 rounds. He fought a Russian guy, Anatoly Tokov. He won the title. I think Eblen has a really good chance to be one of the top fighters in that middleweight division, no matter what type of promotion it is. It just really wasn't that exciting of a fight. And but the fight that kicked off the main card was a guy named Brennan Ward. He fought a guy, Sabah Humasi. Brennan Ward has been in Bellator since 2012, a professional since 2008. He lost 5 years of his career to an opioid addiction, and he had hit rock bottom. He went to prison. He was in seriously bad shape in his life, was able to overcome this addiction and get himself back into the Bellator cage. He's got his 3rd straight win now. And the first round of this fight was one of the best rounds I've ever seen in any fight I've ever witnessed. It was a absolute brawl, a bloody battle that was so fun to watch. And he ended up winning it in a TKO in the 2nd round. And yeah, this guy's story is pretty crazy, pretty amazing what he's overcome. And yeah, I think look out. This guy's fun. He's 35. He said, I just want to fight every couple months because I don't got much time left. And he's a battler, and this was a fun fight. I recommend anybody to watch that first round. One of the best rounds I've ever seen.
That sounds awesome. It sounds like I'll definitely be checking that out at some point in time for sure, because it's funny when you have a guy that has like a story behind him like that, right? And it's almost as if when he gets into that cage, he's like feels free, like and he's able to do things or push past limits that others would normally have.
True.
Right? Because True. Like he's been there. He's been down at the bottom. He doesn't want to be there ever again. So he can push.
Yeah, he said his daughter, he had to miss his daughter's I think it was her first birthday and some big events in their lives, and he said he just it just hit him so hard that he needed to change his life, turn it around. He said he's been into rehab on 4 or 5 occasions, and he just said he was just crazy bad to try to kick the habit, but it seems like he's on the right path. He's working hard. He still has a 9-to-5 job in construction. I think he said he's a welder, but he did take some time off to train specifically for this fight. And yeah, it was awesome. It was super impressive, and I'm impressed by the kid. He seems like he's finally got it together, and great to see him overcome this this trouble in his life, and hopefully the worst is way behind him and he can just keep going on. I think he'll be featured a lot more prominently. He was the first fight on the main card. I think we're going to see him one of the top top fighters on cards coming up. This is Bellator 290, so they've had even more numbered fights than the UFC have. So this long established. He was a established guy for many years. He fought for the belt years ago, but yeah, like I said, lost 5 years to his addiction. Yeah, look out, Brennan Ward. Seems like a great story.
Yeah, I know it sounds like a fantastic story, and hopefully he can keep throwing on entertaining fights for us fans. Because hey, if you kick it off like that, I'm sure Bellator is like, well, let's keep trotting that guy out. That worked.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. I wasn't impressed with the main event. It was a rematch between Ryan Darth Bader and Fedor, the last Emperor Emelianenko. Lots of people do consider Fedor one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, if not the greatest. Was never able to come to terms on a contract with the UFC, and it was tough that he never got a chance to face the best of the best and you know, in the top promotion. But great career, but he should have hung him up a little while ago. He looked like an old man in there, 46 years old. He got viciously knocked out in this one, and tough to see. I think, you know, this sport doesn't really treat old men very well. They usually get knocked out in their last fight or two or three or four, and he has to go out this way. But the coolest part about it all was all the legends that were there to witness his final fight. They all came into the cage, hugged him, congratulated him on this being his last fight. And I could not believe the murderer's row of amazing MMA guys. You know, it was just incredible. I had to send you some text and some pictures just to show you, like, holy cow, can you believe the guys that are here?
Like, you know what? It just kind of reminded me that it's like, oh man, that's just a bunch of tough old men, old retired fighters, all Hall of Famers, all like at the level of Liam Neeson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of men that you had in there in that octagon. It was awesome to see. And it was awesome to see them pay their respects to Fedor. It was cool.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. Just on and on. Even Matt Hughes was there. He's still, you know, in bad shape from his brain injury. He was in there unsteady on his feet, has a hard time moving, has a hard time walking, but he was right there beside Chuck Liddell, who was giving him a lot of help. And you know, to see Renzo Gracie, Hoist Gracie, see Mark Coleman, just on and on and on. I was just like, is that him? Is that him? Is that him? Holy cow! There's Chael Sonnen was there. Just yeah, it was cool. I'm impressed with Bellator being able to get that many legends out to a card. And the other thing was Jean-Claude Van Damme was there, and he was there to support Brennan Ward. He came into the cage after Brennan Ward's fight, and you know, showed his support. It was neat to see him, and they definitely gave quite a few shout outs to Jean-Claude Van Damme, which was pretty neat.
That's awesome. I didn't know they were buddies. Didn't know they were boys.
Yeah,
that's so cool. A Jean-Claude Van Damme sighting. That's all you need to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of legends, I do hear that Mike Tyson has agreed to be the referee for the fight between Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. Francis has agreed to the rules that Tyson Fury put out there. He just sent out a tweet that said, okay, 4-ounce gloves, thumbs up, cage, thumbs up, Mike Tyson as the referee, big thumbs up, Queensbury boxing rules, and what else? And then he said, oh yeah, baddest man on the planet. And it looks like it's on. I don't think they have all the details worked out quite yet, but good to see Tyson's on board, Ngannou's on board, Mike Tyson's on board. Just got to get a venue, a date, and this is happening. It really seems like it's happening.
That's awesome. I don't know how Mike Tyson got in there as the guest referee. I'm hoping it doesn't just turn into a wrestling thing, but if it did, it would be pretty awesome too as well. I okay, first off, number one, I couldn't be happier for Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier for him because this is what the UFC tried to take away from him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is what they tried to take away from him. And he was like, no, you're not going to take this opportunity away from me.
I'm doing
this. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for myself and my family. You think I'm going to give this up? You think I'm nuts?
Yeah.
No, I am not.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Yeah, no, I'm super happy. I'm just completely thrilled by it. And Scott Coker, the head of Bellator, has said that Francis has a place in Bellator once he's done boxing. They want to sign him. They're willing to step up and pay the kind of money that the UFC was paying supposedly. And they said, yeah, he will be our feature guy on our roster, and he's got a place. So they have huge interest in bringing him in, and that'll be great for him because he'll be able to, continue his career in his chosen sport. This boxing match is obviously going to make him a ton of money, but you might as well go back to the sport where you're the most dominant guy in the world and, really get your legacy done to, prove how great you are in MMA.
Of course. Yeah. And who would anybody that would have thought it's like, oh, I guess his MMA career is over. What are you idiots? Of course it's not over. Just has to pick a different organization to fight for. That's it. And then hopefully those organizations have the money, which they do. Bellator obviously does, to pay him the money that he so richly deserves.
Yeah.
Right. And on top of that, maybe they actually consider some of the other things he wanted in his contract for other fighters going forward. Maybe they actually consider that too. Something that the UFC said, no, we like putting the fighters underneath our thumb and keeping them there.
Yeah.
Because that's where they belong.
Yeah. Right? I think this CBS card for Bellator has really changed the game. And I don't think UFC is going to have as much of a stranglehold on the sport as they've enjoyed for many years. I think look out. I think PFL's doing really good things. I think Bellator's doing good things. I wish Bellator would have put on some of their younger fighters, some of their guys that are really, really, really top MMA guys right now, currently in their prime. I think they made a mistake there, but I don't think this is just a one and done CBS thing. I think they've got a multi-fight contract, and this is given options. And the UFC has, like you said, tried to keep these guys under the thumb, not paying them properly in a lot of cases. And Bellator, starts attracting some of the top guys in the sport. I think a lot of eyeballs are going to turn to it. And I bet you there was way more people watching Bellator than were watching UFC on Saturday night.
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to agree with you on that because I did watch the UFC card and it was it wasn't the greatest.
No.
It was a kind of a tough slog. So
yeah, no, I wasn't impressed with it. There's a few things that I'll mention when we go through it, but I wasn't impressed with it. I guess it would have been appealing to that South Korean fan base because if they were there, they were supposed to be there. Would have been appealing because there's a lot of Koreans on the fight, a lot of Asians from countries around that part of the world. It would have been very appealing to them. I really like this road to the UFC. I think that's another really good pipeline, and good to see 4 contracts in 4 different weight classes happen for it. Sort of a tournament style, and UFC hasn't done too much of that over the years, so it was good. But before we move forward, I want to mention another boxing. Jake Paul has got a lot of notoriety for these boxing cards he's been putting on in the last few years. He's been putting on fights against guys that are making their boxing debuts and guys that aren't boxers and celebrities and things like that, paying them really quite well most of the time. The top guys, maybe not the undercard and things like that, but Jorge Masvidal made an announcement today he has his own boxing league. It's called Game Bread. This will be their fourth fourth fight card, and he has got an absolutely stacked card this time. Did you hear any of the details yet, Jason, on who is going to be fighting on this card coming up April 1st?
Okay, I was shocked. I saw the Insta just of the main card. So I don't know anybody else, but I saw the Insta and I was like, you got to be kidding me. He pulled that off. Like, so for me, when you're able to get these kind of fighters, that means that you actually have respect in the game.
Yeah.
So that means a lot of guys respect him.
Big time.
For sure.
Big time.
So Jose Aldo versus Jeremy Stevens.
Yeah.
I don't need to say anything more than that. That's going to be one heck of a barn burner of a fight.
Be phenomenal. Yeah.
It's gonna like as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh man. Okay, all right. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
No, I love that. I love that we've got Vitor Belfort against Jacare Souza. Those two Brazilians against each other will be awesome. We got two English fighters, Paul Semtex Daly against Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. That'll be fun. Anthony Pettis is fighting against Roy Jones Jr. I haven't looked up how old Roy Jones Jr. is yet, but what do you think his age is? Should we try to see it?
I'm gonna say he's definitely in his 50s, right?
You think?
He's gotta be in his 50s.
Is he?
Yeah. So
that's something that a little bit worries me. If he's he's 54, so yeah, that's a little tough. Roy Jones Jr., one of the greatest boxers to ever live, but 54, yeah, that's not a good age to be fighting anymore. He should not be. I don't even know how they get sanctioning for this. You know, it's weird. This is happening in Milwaukee. I thought maybe if it was Florida, easily get the sanctioning there. It seems like he can do anything there. But yeah, 54. I'm impressed with so much of the card. Anthony Pettis, I'd love to see box too, but I wish they wouldn't have picked a guy that's that old past his prime.
He's in his 50s, man. All right, he's in his 50s. So I don't know. Maybe he'll come in looking like super jacked, like Mike Tyson did when he did his guest appearance. By the way, he looked super impressive.
Yeah.
When he went in there, you could tell he took his training seriously.
Took it very seriously, yeah.
Oh yeah, because like a 50-year-old man to look like that, I was like, oh, okay. Mike Tyson, I don't want to fight that guy, right? But yeah, man, I'll give it to Game Bread. I'll give it to Jorge Masvidal. What an excellent start to his organization. Wow. I'm shocked.
He was giving it seriously to Jake Paul, saying, F you, he was really mad at Jake Paul, saying, hey, first of all, don't criticize my boss, Dana White, so much. I think you're an idiot. I don't think you talk about paying these guys a ton of money. He said, it's nothing compared to what I'm paying the guys that are fighting on this card. He said, they're all legends, all amazing fighters, and I'm paying them really, really, really well. And he's trying to promote it heavily and try to recoup the money that he's paying out. And like you said, I think he's got massive respect in the game. He's still in the game, and he's putting this card on a week before he's about to fight Gilbert Burns. And that's crazy, because everything that goes into putting on a fight card, he's going to be a busy boy for this. And to do this 1 week before fighting one of the top fighters on the planet, it's insane. But he said, I can do it because I'm consumed by fighting, have been for my entire life. And it's just an extension of it. So we'll put this card on. It'll be awesome. And then I'll go beat Gilbert Burns.
Wow. That's some great mentality that he has there. And the fight card is it's awesome. Yeah. Right? But besides 54-year-old Roy Jones, but besides all of that, the fight card's awesome. And I'm just impressed that he was able to put this together with that level of talent. And it's high.
It's incredible. Yeah. I'm really excited Jose Aldo actually makes his boxing debut this Friday in Brazil. It's a Shoot2 boxing card, and he wants to fight. He says he wants to fight about 6 to 7 times a year in boxing. He said boxing, they fight, a lot of guys fight every month, every couple months, when they're getting, experience and going up the ranks. He said, I've got to do that to really establish myself and get myself a record and prove that I'm really great. And so he's fighting, like I said, this Friday, and then he'll be fighting on Gamebred's card April 1st. So yeah, I can't wait to see the results of that, and yeah, start seeing a new career for one of the best ever. And yeah, it's cool. Most of Jake Paul's cards I've watched, but I haven't been very impressed with the most of the fighters on this card. But this one of the greatest cards that I've seen for former MMA guys and guys that are changing sports and getting into boxing. And yeah, I can't wait to watch it. I'm definitely gonna put it on and be front and center watching the entire card.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try to find it, but yes, I definitely want to watch the card, man, because and I didn't know this, but you just clarified it for me. I didn't know that Jose Aldo was seriously not just dipping his toe in, but seriously thinking of, no, I'm just gonna do a boxing career now. Like, I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was gonna do that.
yeah, no, he's very serious. He said he's very serious. This is something that he's been wanting to do for a while. He wanted to finish off his MMA career and get into boxing. He saw the money to be made, and it was always something that interested him. And yeah, he said he wants to really, like I said, fight 6-7 times a year. So yeah, we're gonna get to see this guy change his career and hopefully have a very decorated boxing career as well.
Well, you know what? This might be the start of something. This might be the start of like MMA guys going, okay, because Carter actually started.
Right.
He was the one to start it.
Sure.
And so now you're gonna see MMA guys going, so that's how much money you can make from boxing.
Yeah.
I gotta try to get me some of that money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you have a name, if you got a belt, then that makes it even more appetizing for other boxers to look at you and say, I think we can make a fight like that.
Sure.
Something like that. And make both of us make a lot of bank.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no. The sport's changing big time. Jake Paul came in and really upset the apple cart and changed. And I think when we get guys that people respect a lot more than the Pauls, we get Masvidal, we get Khabib has his own MMA promotion. There's going to be a lot of guys that are getting in there that these fighters respect big time. They'll sign on the dotted line to help them out, start promoting it. And I think there's going to be a lot of guys that just aren't getting paid what they should to put their lives on the line, and might as well dip your toe into different waters and make that money, because your prime's pretty short for a fighter. And if the UFC is not willing to open up their purse strings a bit more, I think they're going to lose a lot of guys.
No, I know, and I see it. Yeah. It's already. How about this? It's already happening. You just lost your heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
He bailed on you. Yeah. So now the next question is, who's the next champion that's going to leave your promotion?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You're right. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the UFC card. Yeah, definitely not stacked. As I said, it was supposed to happen in Korea. Korean Zombie ended up getting a severely dislocated collarbone and shoulder injury. They thought that having the main draw there was the fall that fell out was too much to endure, and they want to bring a proper card there with Korean Zombie, so they decided to put it into Vegas. This definitely was littered with Asian fighters, a lot of Koreans. We had Chinese, Japanese, all over. Great to see a lot of fighters making their UFC debut. It ended up being, I think, eight fighters and many of them were on this road to the UFC, which is a cool, interesting way of doing it. They decided to do a tournament style, started with 8 in each division, down to 2 on in 4 different weight classes. And I thought that was kind of cool. Great to see these guys actually having to fight their way into a contract. And it turned out to be an interesting part of this card for sure.
Yeah, it did for sure. You got to see a bunch of new people that you've never seen fight before. Yeah, it was an experiment that I think worked for the most part.
Yeah. We had the main event. It looks like Derek Lewis is in big trouble. It looks like his MMA career is in serious jeopardy. Dana White, sloughed off that type of talk there on the weekend, but when you've lost 4 in a row and you're teetering, like this, losing this badly, he didn't look good at all. Sergey Spivak isn't one of the top heavyweights in the world, but he was able to seriously dominate him, and Derek Lewis is hoping for somebody that he could bang with. This was not what Sergey wanted to do, and took him down at will, let him back up, took him down again. It was pretty bad for the Black Beast, and Spivak just easily manhandled him.
I thought we would just see a better version of Derek Lewis. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I thought we would see a better version of that. And him also knowing that's what most guys want to do to you. They don't want to deal with your power. They want to take that away from you. So his takedown defense, I thought, would have been better. Yeah. And it was non-existent. It wasn't even there, man.
Wasn't even there, yeah.
No. So Spivak was just like, I'll just keep dragging it down to the ground, to the mat. I'll let you get up. I'll do it again. And he did it over and over and over, like to the point where I'm like, okay, man, you know what he's doing. So stop it.
Stop it from happening. Yeah, prove that you can stop it. He was almost giving up. It was crazy. Yeah. Like, he just said, all right, I guess I'm going back down again. I'm not even gonna. It didn't seem like he even attempted to stop the takedown.
Exactly. Like he didn't give it any effort. Like, it's almost as if he didn't know how to stop it. Yeah. Which is utterly ridiculous. Of course you know how to stop it, right? Yeah. But he didn't do it. And then Spivak was just like, okay, well, dragged into the deep waters, kind of sapped his gas tank. I'll beat him up a little bit, and an arm triangle finish, and then it was over. And I'm just like, wow, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he wasn't even fighting the arm triangle either. No, I don't know what the heck. I don't know if he was just exhausted and just, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. Because you and I talked about him coming in, looked like he was in the best shape of his life. Finally, he was doing some training, but he wasn't training in the right way, and just really looked like a shell of a guy that fought for the belt, before, and has fought some of the top heavyweights. He's the most decorated knockout artist that we've got in the UFC, and something seriously wrong. He has to go back to the drawing board and figure this out, because I don't think his MMA career is going to last much longer if we see performances like that.
No, it's not going to last that much longer, because like it just felt like he gave up.
Yeah,
it was like, this is hard. No, I'm not really into it anymore. And it's just like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Not into it. It's like, what is this? Like, it was disappointing. Yeah, it was just a disappointing performance. I expected more. I expected better, and the fans didn't get to see that.
No, not at all. Yeah. In the co-main event, we had Devin Brown Bear Clark also in trouble. He has not looked good in his last couple years in the cage. Only 7-7 in his UFC career, and really just kind of becoming one of those guys where you're like, maybe he just is not an elite talent. Came in, and I thought, I thought he was overmatched and wasn't not going to be able to dominate like he did this night. He has incredible tree trunks for legs. He used that to press him up against the cage and get some really nice takedowns and then dominate on the ground. He is one really amazing athletic specimen, and he really utilized that power and force to his advantage and got a big win.
Yeah, he definitely did utilize that to his advantage. His grappling was on point, the fence grappling, and then managed to get those trips on Jung, who's an exceptionally big fighter.
Yeah,
like he's
big guy.
that dude is massive. He's actually a huge dude, and I was impressed. Like Clark was there to fight, even when Jung started landing some shots. Clark would fire right back immediately.
Yeah,
he wouldn't accept like punches just coming at him. He would fire back. Before in some of his other fights, it seemed like he was just too accepting of taking shots.
yeah.
This time, if he took shots, he was giving shots back, and then immediately went to the grappling and tried to take him down. And he was pretty successful in that as well. So, hats off to Clark. He looked great. He looked great that night.
Yeah, no, I loved it. Really great performance, and he really turned his career around, in my opinion, on that fight. Let's hope that trajectory keeps going up, because I liked him early on in his career, but he hasn't looked very good for the last couple years. Maybe this performance can really springboard him, and he gets to buy a golden retriever now. He said he had talked to his wife, and she said, yeah, you can buy one if you win. And so he was excited to make that announcement. He gets to go get his dog. That's good. The other heavyweight fight that was on the card had Marcin Tybura against Blagoy Ivanov. Ivanov is just a fire hydrant, tough guy, very, very, very solid. And Tybura utilized his foot speed, his movement, and really was able to pull out this decision victory. I like Tybura. He's won 7 of 8 now, and but this was no joke of a fight. This was tough. He had to really withstand a very tough guy and get the win.
Yeah, because Ivanov kind of kept walking through his shots.
Yeah.
Kept walking through his punches and his kicks, and I'm sure the boys like, that's not natural. Like, how is he doing this? And the other thing that kind of shocked me with Ivanov, his hand speed.
Yeah,
dude, he's got quick hands. Like,
fast.
I was like, oh, I was shocked at how fast his hands were.
True.
And so, Tybura really had to go for it in round 3, and then that's where he took him down and kept him down for the majority of round 3. That's why I believe he won the fight, was just because of round 3. He came out with that. He was that with that intensity, took Ivanov down and won the fight.
Yeah, his Tybura's corner was very honest to him after the first round and said, I think you lost that fight. You got to go out and win these next 2. Stop him or dominate. And he really listened. Like you say though, Ivanov was just able to shake off every type of shot that he landed on him, and he just kept pressing. But Tybura was just a little bit better in those next 2 rounds, and was able to get some takedowns, and really just the movement and his landing a lot of shots. Even though they didn't do damage, they were scoring with the judges, and got him a big win. And onwards and upwards for him. Ivanov still shouldn't move down the rankings too much, because I think he's he put up a really tough fight.
No, Ivanov really acquitted himself well in that fight, for sure. Yeah. And but Tybura, again, at that 3rd round, that's what got him that win, for sure.
You mentioned Superboy Doo-Ho Choi in our preview, and said you're really looking forward to seeing him fight. I love his performances typically, and really look forward to them as well. Looking forward to seeing Kyle Nelson back, Canadian from Ontario, and this was this was a good battle, but I'm surprised that when Choi got a 1-point deduction, this ended up in a draw. I saw it being a draw, but it's too bad that, you know, Choi deserved this win. He won the fight. You know, it's too bad that 1 point ended up taking the victory away from him. I'm cheering for Nelson basically a bit, but Choi won the fight. But yeah, 1 point deduction. That was it. You know, we ended up having a draw.
Yeah, it was a close fight. Nelson acquitted himself well, but I thought Choi was getting the better of him in the striking department. Right.
Yeah.
And then the questionable point taken away was because the ref thought that Choi intentionally headbutted Nelson on the ground when he was grounded opponent.
Yeah.
Tough. I don't know if it was intentional, but at the same time, the ref does have a point where you are in control of all your weapons at all times.
Sure.
So yeah. I can see it from that perspective. Or also too, maybe sending a message to the other fighters of if this happens again, we expect a point to be taken away.
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate with the point being taken away because I think Doo Ho Choi really deserved this win, but maybe it's a cautionary tale for other fighters going forward that refs are possibly going to be cracking down on the rules a little bit harder than usual.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I agree with everything you say there. Yeah, it didn't look like he, you know, was really winding up and throwing it. It just sort of ended up happening. He was kind of coming down and landed it. Yeah, immediate Chris Tognoni jumped in and immediately said yeah, 1 point to each of the judges, and that was it. And I thought, damn, this is going to end in a draw, isn't it? And it sure did. Yep. So maybe they'll run that back again. We'll see. Choi hasn't been winning very much lately, but this one, yeah, ended in a draw. Nobody lost, nobody won. We'll see where they go from here. This fight to kick off the main card, I really liked Adam Forget About It. And he got a amazing great win. This is a fun fighter, and I really enjoyed this kicking off the main card.
Yes, because I believe Kinoshita was the favorite in this particular fight.
Sure was.
And Fugit sure took that away from him. But the one thing I was impressed with that Fugit, he ate a huge head kick. Yeah. In the beginning of this round. Early on, and he ate it and took it like it was nothing. I was super impressed by that because that head kick could have had the potential to knock out pretty much anybody else, and he took it and came back even stronger. Dropped Kinoshita with the straight left. He had great knees in the clinch, and then eventually got him with the grounded pound finish. I was impressed. I was impressed that he took out such a highly skilled fighter where it was probably supposed to go the other way around.
Yeah, he was the underdog big time. He was definitely not supposed to win this fight. They had it set up, you know, for him to lose, and he came in and has won 5 of 6. Once he got him down and started landing those huge elbows, it was just inevitable that it was going to be over. But he said in the post-fight interview that he doesn't even remember receiving the head kick. He said, "Oh, I guess I'll have to go back and watch. I hope it didn't look too bad." But he doesn't even remember it, and somehow was able to become a robot and just go on and get the win. Very, very, very impressive, because most mortal men would have definitely fallen and been knocked out severely with a kick to the head like that.
Yes, most mortal men, but luckily Fugit can just go into autonomous mode and just go robotic. Like, oh, now I need to take him out.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was shocked when he said that. Really? Oh, I got kicked in the head. Oh, I don't even remember that. Huh? Interesting. Guess I'll have to watch that on TV. Pretty hilarious.
Always good.
Okay. tell me your thoughts about the feature fight in the lightweight division and the prelims card. Juby
Oh,
looked great. Was able to get the knockout victory there. What? Tell me about your thoughts there.
just that Jubilee was definitely the superior grappler. Like it was. They were on two different levels. Like
Yeah,
they were on two completely different levels. Like I thought that the Jubilee would be a good like ground fighter. I didn't think he'd be that good. Like
yeah,
he completely dominated that dude on the ground. Completely dominated, like utter and complete domination. So it was just a matter of time before he did what he did in the second round.
yeah. It was cool. I thought this fight had the potential to be so awesome because it was an Indonesian fighter. If he wins, he's the first Indonesian fighter ever to make it into the UFC. An Indian fighter, only the second Indian fighter from India to ever make it into UFC. So a lot on the line for these guys trying to get their country represented. I thought, holy cow, this is going to be a barn burner. I watched a lot of the preamble stuff about it. As I said, the road to the UFC, these guys were in there. Both had fights to get to this point. And yeah, but Jubilee, man, he was able to get to the ground, get some mount, get some amazing ground and pound, and wow, really, really, really impressive grappling game. And yeah, exciting. It's amazing when finally fighters from countries that we don't normally see in the UFC finally break through. This has to impress the heck out of the UFC, Dana White, and all the matchmakers, because India has billions of people there, and holy cow, they can tap into that market. It can just explode the sport even more when you're starting to bring in untapped markets from before. It's incredible, and it'll be cool to see this guy on his rise through the ranks. Be representing a country that we really just haven't seen represented in mixed martial arts typically, and the UFC.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is great because what it actually does too as well is it just increases the quality of the fights.
Yeah.
Like this all over, just the quality goes up because the fighters are better, and because now you're literally getting the best fighters on the planet into your organization, which is where we all want it to be.
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden now there's no boring fights, none.
Yeah.
Because all the fights are awesome. Because all these guys are awesome. That's
Yeah.
where I eventually want to see the sport, where it's like, okay, I just put on this fight night. I don't know any of these fighters, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to be super entertained.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And he's got the potential to be, super famous in his home country. Being able to be that guy that can move the sport forward. He's going to walk into any gym and be the guy. They're going to be able to point to him. Kids are going to be able to take autographs from him and say, holy cow, this is the guy. And there was so much on the line for many of these road to the UFC fighters. We've seen Ultimate Fighter, we've seen the Contender Series, we've seen Looking for a Fight. I think this is a really cool new invention by the UFC to try to get fighters from lots of different countries that we're not seeing represented.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great idea, and definitely something obviously they're going to keep going forward with. And yeah, and also too, we get to see like the backstory of some of these guys and how they came to be and how they got to the UFC.
Yeah. I like his nickname too, King of Lions. Look out world. King of Lions has a UFC contract and he's coming. I can't wait for his next battle. Do you want to take me through your thoughts on some of the other road to the UFC fights? Do you want to blast through it? Do you want to focus in on one or two of the main ones?
Yes. The Nakamura Kazama fight. I love that fight. I love that fight because it was awesome. They just went toe to toe.
Yeah.
Toe to toe, and Nakamura won. That's pretty much what I saw, because Nakamura, from what I could tell for that brief 33 seconds of that fight, Nakamura was definitely the more confident one in his power. He was just like, nah, if you want to play this game with me, you're going to sleep. I mean, and he put him to sleep, man. Put him to sleep. That was awesome. I love that fight. I love that fight. For as violent and as short as it was, I love that fight.
Yeah, then it was pretty amazing too, because I hear that he's actually known much more for his wrestling, his grappling skills, and yeah, he just decided to abandon that and just throw toe to toe with the guy and get that knockout 32 seconds in. Yeah, you know, Dana White was, I could see him signing the contract as he's running towards the cage, like, you know, making sure this guy was getting signed immediately. It was a hell of a battle for 32 seconds, man. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, man. So that was one that I definitely enjoyed. And then the other one was Jun Young versus Tallulah.
Right.
I like that fight too. First round rear naked choke by Jun Young. I thought his grappling skills was great. And Tallulah, unfortunately, he was a little rookie-ish when it came to his mat skills because Jun Young actually mounted him pretty easily, and then it was just a matter of time. He manipulated Tallulah in a way so that he made his job so much easier for himself.
Yeah,
made him give up his back, sunk in the rear naked choke. That's all she wrote. I was impressed by Jun
Young. Yeah. The Iron Turtle, I love him. He's fun to watch. He's been in the UFC for over 4 years now. That was his 8th UFC appearance, and he's looking better all the time. He's on a 3-fight win streak, 6 first-round finishes. Really, really impressive rear naked choke and got the finish after getting the full mount, and then the guy having to spin and get his back in. But yeah, it was an interesting card. Not as great as I was hoping for, but as I said, nice to see a lot of these Asian fighters getting this opportunity. Fighters from different countries. We got to see a lot of countries represented that we're not typically seeing, and that's always going to be good for the UFC going forward. So on to one of the most stacked cards that we've ever seen. One of the greatest cards put together UFC history. We're getting to see the #1 pound for pound guy on the planet against the #2 pound for pound guy on the planet currently, and it's going to be cool to see Volkanovski going to be trying to become the champ against Islam Makhachev, who's been on a meteoric rise and always been touted as the next one coming out of his camp after Khabib was left. And we get to see this battle finally that much anticipated. And we'll see if Volkanovski can become one of the very few guys in history to hold 2 belts at the same time. What are your thoughts going in? We're less than a week away.
First off, I'm looking forward to this. I'm super looking forward to this fight because the one thing that Volkanovski obviously has had to have worked on relentlessly in his training camp is takedown defense.
Yeah.
And then if when he gets taken down, getting back up.
Right.
Because getting back up against Islam Makhachev is going to be very, very, very difficult. It's going to be very hard.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I'm curious to see on how he's going to address when he fights Islam. And then with Islam, man, just so good everywhere. But I'm sure that he still has to be concerned with like the striking of Volkanovski. That's definitely going to be a concern of his. It's going to be a great fight. I expect that fight actually to go 5 rounds. I think it's going to go all 5 rounds. And then the fight that I think where styles is just a great stylistic fight is Josh Emmett versus Yair Rodriguez. Mm-hmm. You got slickness of Yair Rodriguez, and you have the power of Josh Emmett. Yeah. And they're going to clash. And we're going to see which one gets the better of the other.
Yeah. So, I haven't seen the UFC do this before. I don't remember if they have. They might have, but it's kind of bizarre that before Volkanovski steps into the cage that night, he knows who his next opponent will already be when he moves down, because this is for the interim belt, Emmett and Yair, because he is fighting up in a weight class. They've decided to put an interim belt on, so he'll still be a champion when he walks out of the cage. Before he walks in the cage, he knows who he's going to fight next. It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever done that before. I don't know if they're doing that just to put pressure on him. I don't know. Or maybe it's just the way it worked out. Maybe, but at the same time, it seems pretty like this is planned, obviously, for them to do that. So or maybe it's good for him to know. It's like, oh, okay, so it's one of those two guys. Cool, whatever.
Yeah. I guess another thing is it can be an emergency if Makhachev falls out for some reason. He misses weight, he gets sick, he gets injured. Immediately it's a featherweight championship, even though Volkanovski is going to be bigger. I don't know what they do about that. I guess it depends on how much time he has if there is a fallout, but they have been putting sort of emergency backups in places in the last few years because we've had too many fall offs in that week. But this is kind of bizarre, kind of weird, and I wonder how Volkanovski feels about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and also too, sometimes they just have a guy on standby.
Yeah,
because I think they've had that too, right? Where they've just had fighters on standby. Who knows how much they pay them, but they're there to fight just in case, right? So. Sure. Yeah. But this time around, they obviously clearly didn't do that. That's why they put the co-main event like this, right? So that one of these guys could step in, I believe, if something happens. So, I don't know. Because I'm trying to think like what would the UFC have to gain by doing this to Volkanovski and trying to get into the champion's head? I don't think that it doesn't necessarily for me that there's anything to gain from that, Yeah. So, maybe it's just the way that scheduling works.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. And if you're the champion and you really want to watch that interim fight, but he won't be able to focus on that. He won't be able to watch it. He's not going to be able to see much of it. So he's going to have to watch it on TV, not in the crowd, which, normally you want to see if you're the champ. Somebody's fighting for your belt because you're injured or something. We had this past weekend Yuri Prochazka there. I really think it's a little bit of a weird call by the UFC doing this and not giving Volkanovski much respect. I don't think putting it on the same card. It's kind of weird, and I hope I don't see it too often because I don't think it's good.
Nah, yeah. Like if you're talking about the respect factor, there's not really much. Because let's be honest, Yair and Josh Emmett could have just headlined their own fight night. Easy. Yeah. No problem. Right.
Exactly, so yeah. It will be a good fight. Both these guys are great. Yeah. Styles will make fights and this will be awesome. But I wish it was on a different card. Anyway, I'm looking forward to Jimmy Crute, Alonzo Menifield to kick off the main card. Obviously, Rude Boy Randy Brown is always bringing it. And he's one of your Jamaican boys, so they always bring it heavily, and I think he'll be ready to bang. There's quite a few amazing fights in this card. We have lost the Whitaker Costa fight that was supposed to be on this card. That was too bad. Tyson Pedro almost was knocked off the card, but luckily they found a replacement fighter, and Modestus I forget how to say this guy's name. Modestus Bukauskas. He stepped in on short notice to take on Tyson Pedro. So I think that's good.
Bukauskas. Was that not the dude that took that vicious leg kick from oh man. Now I can't remember his name. He's so no, I can't remember his freaking name. Oh man. Anyways, I thought he took like a vicious leg kick from one of the guys where like he did like John Jones oblique kick to his knee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's the same fighter that I'm thinking of, but awesome that he's on the card because I didn't think that he would have recovered from that injury yet.
Yeah,
But
you're right. You're right. Severe injury.
yes.
And it says that he was released by the UFC after that, which
Oh,
was pretty bizarre.
yeah.
That was his third consecutive loss. The UFC
Right.
decided to release him, but he's back. He is
Yes.
back. That was against Khalil Roundtree.
Free. Thank you. Yeah, because I remember that fight, and I remember what he did to that man's leg, and I was like, oh, that's like the injury looked significant enough that it could almost have been a career ender.
Wow.
That's how bad that damn injury was.
Wow. Well,
He destroyed his whole knee.
hopefully he's really recovered from it because yeah, he's back fighting a really tough guy in Tyson Pedro.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully Pedro doesn't kick his legs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to see the UFC back down under. It'll be fun. This card's gonna be awesome. And yeah, I'm counting down the days. It's gonna be super exciting.
Oh yeah, yeah. Great card. It's gonna be awesome. And also too, great Saturday night leading up to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, not bad.
Yeah,
Not
I
bad.
like that the UFC does that every Super Bowl weekend. They put a really awesome card on and get everybody hyped for the big game. We'll see Volkanovski. The last time I remember a champ trying to go up in weight and get the belt, Israel Adesanya against Jan Blachowicz did
Yeah.
not go well. It wasn't a good move for Adesanya. And yeah, let's hope it goes much better for Volkanovski and we get to see some history. Maybe we get to see champ.
Yeah, you know what? And also too, I want to say, there's I want to say there's a big difference between going up from 185 to 205,
Right.
and then 145 to 155.
Sure.
There's a huge difference there.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so with Izzy having the courage to do it, I'll commend him on that. But at the same time, he had to know it's like, okay, well, if that guy lays on me, I'm not getting up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. He was much bigger. That was a noticeable size difference. Not as noticeable in this one. Probably. Yeah, probably not as noticeable. There was some other big UFC news came Saturday morning, which was kind of dumb. I thought they should actually have a big press conference. Should have announced this face to face, had the media there. Conor McGregor is fighting Michael Chandler after they both are the Ultimate Fighter coaches. So this will be a lead up for a few months. Conor McGregor is going to get under Michael Chandler's skin big time. These guys are going to have a lot of face-to-face battles over the next few months. And this will be great. Once they both lost to Dustin Poirier, their last fights, once Chandler had that amazing performance against Poirier, even though he lost, I think most people thought, wow, I think him and Conor should fight next. And they put this together. I'm pumped. I'm pumped, more pumped for the Ultimate Fighter than I have been in years. And I can't wait for these guys to battle against each other for months. It's going to be cool.
You got two characters. Obviously, Connor's great on the mic, and Michael Chandler can channel his inner WWE personality, which he likes to pair it out there. So it's going to be good. Yeah. Like and first and foremost, Chandler makes exciting fights.
Yeah.
He makes exciting fights. Yeah. So I expect the same thing to happen with Conor McGregor. And for Conor, this as an opportunity. There's a huge opportunity because that guy takes immense amount of risks.
Yeah.
So he can find his opportunities within those risks he's going to take. But he hits hard, man. So he's going to have to watch himself.
Yeah. This will be season 31 of The Ultimate Fighter. Pretty crazy. It starts May the 30th and goes till August the 15th. They do not have a fight date and time, place. That will be between the two coaches. That'll be announced at a later date. Conor broke his leg, UFC 264, July 2021. Hasn't fought since against Dustin Poirier. Chandler's coming off a loss to the Diamond as well. UFC 281 just in November. Yeah, but what Connor on the mic every day for this long, it's gonna be incredible, and we'll get to have tons to chew on and watch, and these guys are gonna hate each other big time by the end of it. And it looks like we'll probably see them fight near the end of August, maybe early September kind of thing. So finally getting to see Connor back, and Chandler is chomping at the bit because he's getting an opportunity to really be blowing up his brand and his name too.
Yeah. He's gonna get a chance to blow up his brand and his name, and then also too, he's gonna get a chance for a huge payday.
Yeah,
because anybody that gets to fight Conor McGregor nowadays gets that big payday.
massive payday. Yeah. It's going to be a huge pay-per-view, and they're going to probably put it in Madison Square Garden, or somewhere really big, and big paydays for Chandler and McGregor and everybody else that's on that card. It's going to be huge. So, okay, let's turn to the NBA. Big story on the weekend, I guess. The biggest story was I in a way hate to talk about this guy. I don't hate many athletes, but I really think it's bordering on hate for this guy. I don't know how a guy can be so talented but be such a cancer to his teams. Has really had limited success compared to his talent level and the players that he's been surrounded by. This guy, Kyrie Irving, I just have to shake my head and think, like, can somebody be that big of an idiot with that much talent and just constantly be that much of a distraction? I just would have loved if he just got sent away and we don't have to talk about him, see him anymore. But Kyrie Irving on Friday decided, oh, that's it. I'm out of here. I don't want to be part of the Brooklyn Nets organization anymore. A day later, they made the trade. He goes to Dallas. I think it was a dumb move for Dallas. They gave up way too much for him, and I think he doesn't have an opportunity to bring a title to this organization. And I think it's just possibly going to piss off your franchise cornerstone and Luka Doncic. And I don't know, man. I just wish Kyrie Irving would go away, but I guess we have to talk about this. This was the biggest news in the NBA over the weekend. He's been traded to Dallas, and what are your thoughts? We see him change uniforms again.
Yeah, well, okay. So for the guys that they got traded for was Spencer Dinwiddie, goes back to the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
He's a great player. And Dorian Finney-Smith, who's a great defensive player and added size to that front line that now they're drastically lacking in for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah. Who plays defense for them now? They already were crappy on defense. They lose their best wing defender. Like, who's going to play defense for them? They don't have anybody.
Yeah, that was a trade I probably would have made, because like that guy was integral to your defense, and now you don't have that anymore. But the thing I look at it with Kyrie is, okay, so are you gonna buy into the Kyrie like the business model? Are you gonna buy into that? Because I wouldn't buy into that. Okay, so number one, okay, so when he was with the Celtics, when he left the team for whatever reason that he left the team for, they were better without him. Right? Yeah. Like that tells me a lot. This guy is supremely talented, but he was so bad with the locker room that once he left, the team was just better.
Yeah,
just better.
Way better.
Right?
Yeah.
And then he causes all this strife with the Nets organization while he's there, only for them to dip. And then even James Harden said, "Oh, so this guy doesn't want to play? I guess I'm out later." And so he's gone, right?
Yeah.
So now the Mavericks with Mark Cuban. I know Mark Cuban's smart too. We all know this, but are you sure? Are you really sure? There's a reason why the Lakers didn't trade for him, because they're on the record for saying there were serious concerns about his professionalism and his availability.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. And because it's true, it's recorded, it's on record. And so with the Mavs kind of going into the Kyrie business model, it's like you kind of know how this is gonna go. Like, are you sure you really want to do this? Because you're saying that he's going to make a commitment to you when he hasn't made a commitment to his last 3 teams. But you're the team he's going to make the commitment to. Right. Okay. Okay, cool. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you look over at a leopard and he's got spots. He's not changing his spots. This guy is the way he's been, and he's not going to change. He has been run out of town in a few organizations. He couldn't play with LeBron, greatest player of all time. He couldn't play with LeBron. He wanted to be the top guy. Goes to Boston, not the top guy, so he just becomes an asshole, and everybody hates him, and he leaves there. He goes to Brooklyn. He wants to be the top guy, but they've got Kevin Durant, who's a better player and had way more success than him. And, so he acts like a jerk. He didn't want to play. He didn't even want the NBA to come back and play when they went to the bubble. He said, no, we shouldn't even be playing any games at all. And I thought that was so awesome of the NBA to do that, because the NBA was the organization that stopped sports in the world. They stopped sports in the world. Then they came up with a plan. We're going to put this in a bubble, and we're going to make everybody safe, and we're going to get some basketball back on for the starving fans. And he's like, no, we shouldn't be doing this. He doesn't want to play basketball then. He doesn't want to play basketball last year when he said, I'm not getting vaccinated. He doesn't want to just go along at any time. He just doesn't want to go along. He wants to cause problems. He was a flat earther for some weird reason. He just decided, hey, everybody, no, the world's flat. It's not round. It's flat. And, everybody looks at him like, are you absolutely one of the biggest morons that we've ever heard on a microphone? Like, are you kidding me? And then he just decides, okay, I'll move on to something else. He decides to promote an anti-Semitic film. And, there's a lot of talk about racism, about white against black, white against a lot of other cultures. But when a guy is black and he is seriously racist making this comment, it's really disgusting, and it's very offensive and very brutal that he was only gone for 8 games. Like, I just shudder to think that if a white player decided that he was going to promote an anti-black film, what would have happened to that white player? Like, he would have been out of the league, never seen from a game. And this guy can do this kind of stuff over and over and over and over and over. And he ran Steve Nash out of town. He said, oh, we don't even need a coach. We'll all be just coaches. Just on and on and on and on. I could just list so many things that he's done that is just not representative of a basketball player that I think most basketball players are guys that you can really look up to as heroes, really amazing in the community, really have done incredible things in their lives, and do constantly great things for the people around him. And this guy doesn't. This guy really has not done things that he should. And he just keeps getting opportunities. And these teams think that they're going to be able to fit him into the system, and he's going to suddenly, do the things that they want, win championships. But he's a cancer, and he's just constantly doing these things that are disgusting and just should not be represented of the NBA, is an incredible league, one of the greatest leagues in the history of sports. And he is one of the worst examples that has ever donned a uniform and put on shoes and tried to play the game. It's just too bad. I just really, really wish that we didn't have to talk about it anymore, and he could just go on and do something else, because I don't think he deserves this opportunity, just the way he's constantly causing problems.
I'm looking forward to the new creative and innovative way he'll blow up the Dallas Mavericks. He's gonna come up with a way where I'm like, ooh, did not see that coming. Nicely done. I don't know, man. Like, how about this? This is what I'm gonna say. If he can find it within himself to just kind of enjoy playing basketball with one of the best young prospects we've ever seen, in freaking decades with Luka Doncic,
Hmm.
and just be like, this guy's pretty good. You know, maybe I'll just play the game. Maybe I'll just play. You know, like if he can do that, then the Mavericks will have a massive win. Massive win.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. He's not going to be able to do that.
No.
It's not going to happen. It's like, even me saying it now, I'm like, no, man, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, it's a huge risk for the Mavericks. It was a huge risk. It's a huge risk for any team deciding to take on this guy. Right? Like it's a huge risk. And I think you need to have like people or all-stars or superstars strong enough to try to handle it. And I thought KD was that guy, kind of, but maybe, I guess not. And then even if we went to the Lakers, would LeBron have been able to kind of reel him in? I don't know about that either.
No.
Not, so
They were together. They were together in Cleveland, and he chose to leave. LeBron, one of the greatest players of all time, about to set the scoring record of all time scoring record this week. He couldn't play with him. He goes to Boston, can't play with Tatum and Brown. These guys, you know, are able to bring Boston a championship. He goes to Brooklyn, and they surround him with two former MVPs. We've got Kevin Durant and James Harden there, who, if they play together and they play well, should be able to win championships there. They should have been able to win maybe 2 or 3 championships there with the talent that was surrounding him. Luka Doncic, just another guy, but Luka is not as much of a, I don't know. He's not the vocal superstar like LeBron is. He's not like Kevin Durant, James Harden, Jason Tatum. It's a different guy. He's supremely talented. But do you think if Luka says something to Kyrie Irving's going to listen? Like,
of course not. No,
I
don't think so at all. I don't think he'll listen at all. I think. And I also too, I think Luka, you're right. That's not his leadership style. His leadership style is like just to go forward and just get it done. Just do it, right? Like, and then just having somebody like Kyrie, I guess this will be a learning experience for Luka, where it's just like, oh, so this is what it's like having this kind of teammate as a teammate. Yeah. Great, this is awesome. Not really.
No, I was really disappointed that he went there, because I really love Luka Doncic. I love his game. I love what he's brought to the NBA. You know, one of the most talented players we've ever seen, and you know, just one of those really young up and coming players that I'm looking forward to seeing for his entire career. And I think this is a step back for the Mavs organization. This won't work, and this will blow up within the next, you know, year or two. It'll be on to the next for him. Somebody else will give Kyrie a shot, unfortunately, and it's just not going to work. And it would have been good to see him go to the Lakers, because the Lake Show has been a just complete circus the last little while. They were talking about sending Russ away and making the deal there. There was talk about him possibly going to Phoenix, and Chris Paul was going to move to Brooklyn, and that got jettisoned. It was going to be Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, and a first-round pick, but the Mavs, with offering the 2 first-rounders and a second, and you know, getting those pieces too, like you say, Spencer Dinwiddie's already been there for 5 seasons. They get Dorian Finney-Smith. Great move for them, but I'm not happy that Dallas did this move.
Yeah, it's again, it's a huge risk. If it works, it's going to be a huge win. I just see it eventually, at some point in time, falling apart.
Yeah. We mentioned LeBron James a couple times. He will become the league's all-time scoring leader this week. It might happen tomorrow. He needs 36 points to pass Kareem Abdul Jabbar, who had 38,387 points in his storied NBA career. LeBron is poised to pass that. there'll be TNT games on tomorrow. They're featured 7 o'clock against OKC, and a TNT game on Thursday featured against Milwaukee Bucks. He's going to break it either tomorrow or Thursday. It's going to be really cool to watch. I can't wait. It'll be amazing because we've been able to witness his entire career, and he didn't come in as a scorer. He became that over the years, and it's really, really wild to see a record that's been standing for 39 years be passed. It might be kind of cool to see it in Milwaukee because Kareem spent the first 6 seasons of his career there. Lakers and Milwaukee sort of symbiotic, but LeBron just might throw it on his back and get it all done tomorrow night. But it's an epic week to get to see this record that's been standing for 39 years be finally broken.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought it would never be broken.
Yeah,
because like just the amount of time that you have to spend like scoring the ball all the time with that kind of consistency, everybody thought, oh, well, it's not going to happen. And then LeBron, not knowing to be a score first guy, is going to be the guy to do it. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we always seem to forget he's in the top 4 in assists all time as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There's the other thing that's why this guy is absolutely incredible. Yeah. Like once he's finally finished playing, and who knows how far away he puts the points up, he's probably just going to do the Brady thing where it's like, I'm just going to keep showing up just to make sure it's well out of range for anybody else. Yeah. There's no freaking way. You're not going to be able to catch me. So I'm just impressed. I'm impressed with the level of play that he's had this season and every other season he's ever had. Like it's just like, it's kind of cool that he's never left his peak.
Yeah.
He just keeps going like forever.
Yeah. It's unreal, amazing. In a way, it would have been great if he would have already won those 6 championships, and you can really just put him up there. Michael Jordan and him just right here. It's sad that he still plays second fiddle to Michael, even though all this accomplishments. But we're lucky. We're in this era. We got to see MJ and him. He is going to put so many of these records so far to reach that it's going to take incredible long, crazy long career to even come close to any of these records. But and I think he's still got 3, 4, 5 possibly years to go, and the guy's just gonna be blowing our minds year after year after year.
Yeah, because I thought maybe this year or even last year he would have slowed down, and then none of that happened. Actually he sped up again. He got better. Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay. You don't make any sense. Okay, I get it.
I'm betting on him doing it on Thursday. He has had 9 games where he's scored 36 or more points this year out of 43. So good chance that it's happening on Thursday. That'll be kind of cool because I love TNT. Thursday inside the NBA, we're going to get to see Shaq and Kenny and Charles and Ernie all there getting to celebrate it. They'll obviously talk to him after. It's going to be kind of cool. It's still on TNT on Tuesday, but it's not the full inside the NBA crew. So I think Thursday is going to happen, and I can't wait. I'm recording it, and I'm going to keep that as a keepsake for hopefully my rest of my life.
No, that's a good idea. But here's the thing, though. If he decides he wants to break it on Tuesday, then it's broken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. This is actually kind of up to him. It's like, maybe I'll just play a normal game and I get what I get. But if I want to break it, then it's going to be broken. He's that good. He can just break it if he wants to break it. Yeah. And then put up 56 points and be like, swat it over with. So,
Yeah, he could. He sure could. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. Very fun. I can't wait. Some sad news that happened over the weekend. Steph Curry was injured again. He has some seriously torn ligaments in his lower leg. Say he will miss multiple weeks with this injury. He missed 11 games earlier this year with a shoulder separation. This is kind of sad to see him injured again. Hopefully, he can get back to 100% within the next few weeks. But yeah, that was tough to watch.
Yeah, I saw what happened, and it was a guy that was doing a hard drive through the lane, and they banged knees, and he came up lame, and I was like, because it was a hard hit. He took a hard hit on his knee, and I didn't think the injury would be as bad or as severe as what you're saying. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but it's a tough loss again, and it sucks because it was, it's freak shot that happened.
Yeah, it's tough because the Warriors have been really struggling this year, pretty much all year. Just getting in that sort of play-in zone. Missing him for this long. I hope they don't go on a losing streak and fall out of that. I want to see them in the playoffs again and having an opportunity. They might make a trade. Thursday is trade deadline day. This big trade that happened over the weekend jumped the gun a little bit, but big rumors that many trades are in the works. Furkan Korkmaz has demanded a trade out of Philly. We'll see where he goes. Looks like Kyle Lowry is being really shopped around by the Heat, and looks like he will move. He's struggled, has a lot of injury troubles this year, and he's a big ticket. Clippers are in need of a point guard big time. They tried to get Kyrie, weren't able to put together enough of a package. Look like maybe he'll go there. I think the Nets aren't done. I think once they talk to KD and tell him that they really want to build around him, I think they'll be able to pull off a couple more deals. Ben Simmons has become almost ridiculous how bad he is right now. So I don't think he's a chip that they can move, but I think there'll be many moves made by the Thursday deadline.
Yeah. I think a lot of teams are looking to obviously get better. A couple of teams probably are not going to make too many moves at all, which are those teams up at the top, like the Nuggets are. Nuggets look great, by the way. They look fantastic. Grizzlies are good. And then in the East, obviously, the Milwaukee and Celtics.
Boston.
But yeah, I expect some movement. And then I kind of expect Chris Paul, something to happen with him. Yeah. I think he's going to move somewhere because I think the Suns are just like, it's unfortunate, but we're getting diminishing returns from this guy. It's time to see if we can get something like a first rounders or something like that.
Yeah, I could see him going back to the Clippers, which would be pretty crazy and pretty amazing.
Yeah, I could see that too because they are in need of like a point guard, and he can do that.
Yeah, we'll see. Players of the week this week, Giannis again. He averaged 41 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. Bucks were 3-0 in the week. They've on a 7-game win streak right now. His big game was the 54-point, 19 rebound win over the Clippers in the week. And man, he is looking like all world right now. Absolutely incredible. And yeah, I don't think the Bucks have to do anything, like you say, on trade deadline. And for the second week in a row, Western Conference Player of the Week is Damian Lillard. Blazers were 3-1 on the week. He averaged 38.3 points, 6.8 assists, and 4.5 rebounds. He scored 40 or more in 3 of the 4 games. His big one was 42 points, 10 assists, and a big win. And yeah, second week in a row, Lillard's lighting it up.
Yeah, and you know what? That surgery had to fix his abdominal injury. Well, yeah, that was definitely needed because like this is the Damian Lillard we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
So that injury was certainly affecting him until he got it fixed. So this is fantastic to see. It's awesome. It's awesome to see Damian Lillard being awesome.
Yeah. Okay, let's finish it off with Super Bowl week. Media day today. We're going to get to see tons of great, hilarious quotes out of a ton of the players. They're going to have inundated with reporters and weirdos from all over the world coming in and asking them the craziest weirdest questions. But I think the thing that I'm most thinking about really going in is how healthy will Patrick Mahomes be, and if he is, this is going to be a hell of a battle between the two best teams all season long. Great Super Bowl matchup. Love Glendale, love Arizona. This has already been a fun week heading in, and it should be an epic Super Bowl.
Yeah, it should be an epic Super Bowl. And also, too, let's be honest, both quarterbacks are banged up.
Yeah.
Hurts with his shoulder and Mahomes with the high ankle sprain. But hopefully both of them will be as close to 100% as they can be. And they put on just a great football game, which is what I'm absolutely expecting. I think it's a coin flip between the two teams. I think they're very well matched against each other. And I think for the Kansas City Chiefs, it's going to come down to, can they stop the Eagles' run game?
Yeah,
because that's going to be it. Can they at least try to slow it down, right? Yeah. And then for the Eagles, for the defense, they're looking to try to contain Mahomes as best they can. So,
do you think this could be the last time the Chiefs make the Super Bowl? Because
why?
Because they don't have Washington Redskins anymore. They're the Commanders. They don't have the Cleveland Indians anymore. They're the Guardians. They don't have the Edmonton Eskimos anymore. How come they're not going after the Chiefs for their name? Why do they get a pass compared to those other teams?
Good question. It could do with like the fact that the chief is usually like the head of the clan and stuff, and it's usually very much of a respectful position.
Okay.
Possibly, it's just a possibility. I don't know for sure. Or what could be happening is the name change is imminent, and we just don't know about it.
Okay. Yeah, I just found it strange when I was realizing that, all those other teams that have the native names and stuff, had to change name and go make major changes, and everybody lets the Chiefs do that. They still do the tomahawk chop, and they're pretty prominent native name that doesn't seem the natives want to allow teams to have those names anymore.
Yeah. Like I said, it could be what I just said before, or there could be an imminent change that nobody's privy to until they actually do it.
Yeah. Eagles are favored by 1.5. I'm picking them. Where do you lean? Are you leaning more to the Eagles or to the Chiefs?
Yes, like I think I said before. I think I went with Philly. Didn't I say that before? I think I went with Philly. I'm gonna stay with Philly, but at the same time, I'm not gonna be surprised if the Chiefs win. It's gonna come down to 3 points. I think that's what it's gonna come down. I think this game's gonna come down to 3 points, and then that field goal kicker is gonna be at the top of the world. It's gonna be. Oh man, I'm gonna get it all. I'm gonna get a bonus. I'm gonna get paid more money. This is gonna be a field goal. I think it's gonna be decided by a field goal or last second touchdown.
Nice.
Field goal.
This will be the first year in 3 where the home team hasn't won. LA won it in LA last year. Tampa Bay the year before. As I said, it's in Arizona this year. Love that most of the time it's a neutral site game, so no team has a big advantage, and it's just mano a mano. It doesn't home field doesn't change it. And but yeah, this is going to be a great game. I hope everybody's healthy and we get to see just best on best. There's 15 members still with the Chiefs from their last Super Bowl win, and there's 5 members of the Eagles still left from their Super Bowl wins. So there are some guys with experience in the big game and have gone through it. But yeah, it's crazy how a 50-man roster can really change so much year to year now in the NFL.
Yeah, of course, because it's like they just can't retain their superior talent. especially when it develops, and then all of a sudden they're just like, and now he's priced out, and now we have to move him because we can't pay him.
Do you know what
Because
Jalen
we have
Hurts?
so much money.
Do you know what Jalen Hurts' salary was this year?
Oh man, it was super cheap, wasn't he? 2 million.
1.5.
Perfect. Too bad you can't keep him there because when he renegotiates his salary, it's going to be north of 35, probably 40 million.
Yeah.
Because that's what the top quarterbacks go for now. 40 million a year. Not bad.
Yeah. It's amazing that the Chiefs were able to keep this team together. Third appearance in the last 4 years. Eagles had to blow that team up. They had a 4-win season after winning the Super Bowl a couple of years later, and they've had to rebuild this thing, and good on them that they are back there. And we're going to have a great game. I'm excited. Two more notes. NFL, Tom Brady said he will be taking a year off before he starts his Fox broadcasting deal. Made that announcement today. The fall of 2024 will be the start of his 10-year, $375 million broadcasting contract. He's got to get his house in order a little bit, he says, and take a bit of time to actually be a dad, and not a husband, but just a dad for the weekends. And he's going to start in 2024.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess he can take a year off. Hey, I guess he's not going to have too much of a financial burden, just by taking a year off.
True. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers made headlines this weekend. He won the Pebble Beach Pro-Am golf tournament, and that was pretty surprising. He was able to take his partner, who didn't play amazing golf, but they were able to win this Pebble Beach Pro-Am. I didn't realize that Rodgers could do that. Another surprising move by him. And then I heard some rumors that him and Davante Adams had a deal that Davante would go to the Raiders and he would blow up Derek Carr, and then Aaron could join him a year later in Vegas, and they could be together again.
Oh, come on, man. No, that can't be a real thing, because then that would be super devious, because that kind of worked out that way.
Yeah.
And it could potentially work out that way. It hasn't, but it could, because now Carr is gone and they need a quarterback. Weird.
Yeah, some interesting rumors. I don't know. Devious? Could it be that devious? Could they have done that? I don't know. But I would sure love to be reunited with Davante.
Of course, who wouldn't be? Like, you'd have to be a complete idiot if you were like looking at a quarterback going, "Ooh, I get to pass to that guy all the time. Sign me up. Yeah. I'm in. It's like an immediate. I'm in."
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. I'm calling it. I think he's going to Vegas. Why wouldn't he leave Green Bay, go to Vegas? You can do it. Yeah, I think it's done deal. Like, what's holding it up?
Well, it's not cold enough, right? Because I'm used to playing in Green Bay. Where's the winter? What is this?
That'll be awesome. He'll be reunited, and he'll be that much better, and he'll be able to just be crazy man in Vegas. Holy cow. We're gonna see the real Aaron Rodgers.
I see it. You know what? I can definitely see that. I can definitely see him doing that, going to Vegas and being reunited. And plus, on top of that, the Raiders actually have a good team.
Yeah.
And like they're just missing like a couple pieces, but they actually have a very good team. So if Rodgers went there, it wouldn't be that big of a surprise.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, man. Well, that's all I have. It's a great week. We've got Super Bowl. We've got UFC 284. We've got LeBron James breaking the all-time points record. Lots of great NBA games. Gonna get to see Kyrie Irving in a Mavs uniform. And this was an awesome podcast, but I'm sure looking forward to this fantastic week ahead.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to LeBron James like passing Kareem. I wonder if there's going to be like some tributes already kind of set up ahead of schedule for like maybe some of the former Hall of Famers, like like maybe Jordan says something, maybe Kareem actually does say something, and all that sort of good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. The UFC is going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be great fights, and then the Super Bowl, top it all off with the two Titans going at it. 3 points, like I said, side by 3 points.
3 points. Good plan. Yeah. I'm wearing a Percy Jackson jacket. It's my crew gift. Just got it. I've got it up on eBay, so this will be the first and last time I ever wear it. So just everybody, just take a nice look at my new jacket. But yeah, you can buy it on eBay and make me rich.
No, it's great. Wow, that was quick. It's got what? Oh, been worn once, like right now.
Exactly. I took it off the kid that plays Percy Jackson, so it's authentic.
Yeah, you did. You actually did that. It's like, what about my jacket? I'm cold. No, get it. It's mine.
Yeah. So anyway, man, awesome. Thanks so much for doing this. Have a great night. And when we see the passing of the torch, let's talk. I think it's gonna be like when Steph Curry passed the 3-point record. Ray Allen was there. Reggie Miller was there. They had a big stoppage of the game and a tribute. I think Kareem will be there. It's a home game for the Lakers. Both games. Kareem will be there. I think, all the dignitaries will be there. We're gonna see, them stop the game. It's a big deal, man. Like I said, 39-year-old record, one of the records that you thought was untouchable. I think, this is something historic that we're gonna remember for the rest of our lives.
Oh, for indefinitely. And in LeBron's own words, I'm a pass first guy. Yeah. I never had it in my sights of getting this record, but now that he's going to get it, it's incredible. It absolutely is incredible.
So cool. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks again. I appreciate it. Have a great week. Let's talk soon.
All right, you got it, man. Okay. We'll talk later.
Okay. Good night. Bye for now. Okay. Wow. Another episode has come to an end. That was a great episode. Even though it was a quiet sports weekend behind us, it is a huge sports week ahead and a phenomenal weekend. Can't wait for the weekend with UFC 284. Get to see Super Bowl 57 and week 17 of the NBA. Other things, I didn't mention it to Jason, but big news with Bull Horvat signing an 8-year, $68 million deal with the Islanders, just days after getting traded there from the Vancouver Canucks, former captain. He is an Islander for many, many, many years, and that franchise has turned around. I love Lou Lamoriello saying, the deal was for too much money and too long of a contract, but nothing that they could do once they made that trade, and that commitment has been made now. So anyway, really appreciate you sticking in, watching, listening, and appreciate your support as always. Want to thank our partners and sponsors. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. V350 stick is a must-have for any hockey player in your midst. Anchor.fm is the easiest place to make a podcast. Amazing at posting on multiple podcast platforms for you and for us. It has been just a dream to be part of their world and to be able to be associated with them. Thanks so much to Anchor. Pampas and Possibilities, really amazing at designing West Coast beautiful, pretty things for your home, sprucing it up, making it look great. And Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. Purchase products on our website, completesportsmedia.com. So love you. Take care of yourself. Have a great week ahead and enjoy the sports. Bye for now.